In today's video, I'd like to tell you about a situation in 1995 in Yellowstone National Park. Located in the west of the United States, there once used to be loads of wolf packs roaming the land, but in 1995, there were no wolves, and there hadn't been for about 75 years. This allowed elk populations to skyrocket due to the lack of predators. As their numbers grew, the number of plants decreased. The national park was in dire need of change. If nothing had changed since then, the park would now likely be a barren grassland with only elk frolicking through the fields and grazing on whatever was there. This worrying realisation led to the idea of introducing wolves back into the park, where wolves once roamed. The wolves themselves were taken from Western Canada, specifically British Columbia and Alberta, due to its very similar environment to the park, with the big mountains and the climate's the same. The Canadian wolves also already ate elk and bison, so they were experienced hunters. The team working on this project decided to choose entire established packs of wolves, because the team had realised that forcing wolves to form new packs was harder than capturing pre-existing ones. Each wolf was physically examined, having the younger wolves favoured as they'd be in their prime hunting and breeding stage, which is ideal for starting a new population of wolves to roam the park. Each wolf was fitted with a collar to track their movements, to ensure the survival of the wolves, to make sure they're coping with a new environment. This introduction happened very slowly over time. The first batch of wolves from Alberta were brought over, meaning 14 wolves now roamed their new home before the arrivals in 1996, where another 17 wolves were brought from British Columbia. And finally, in 1997, 10 more wolves were brought from the northwest of Montana to ensure genetic diversity and survival of the species years on. Almost immediately after introducing these wolves to the park, the elk population plummeted. From 1995 to 2000, the elk population dropped from an estimated 17,000 elk to an estimated 14,000. This means that roughly 3,000 elks were hunted by the new wolves, proving that the new population control idea was working. But what was the point? Why are too many elks a bad thing? Well, to start off with, when the old trees would drop in their seeds to grow, the elks would come and eat any sapling below their head. Anything and everything green was in their diet. This only left the old aspens and the old willows standing, while there was no replacements due soon. And this caused a domino effect. See, with a lack of trees comes a lack of shade, meaning that the streams where trout would live got too hot, leading to a drop in trout population, and it also left no wood for the beavers, which are bioengineers of the land, forming swamplands and creeks due to the wooden blockage in the water they create to store their food. The number of elks was so high that come wintertime, they'd have eaten the land bare, causing the elks to starve to death because of the lack of nutrients and energy. The elk also ate all of the root structures from the plants, leading the soil to become less firm, which caused rivers to become wider, shallower and muddier. This in turn ruined spawning grounds for native fish to lay their eggs to create the next generation. The wolves also helped increase the population of bison. See, elks were competing with bison for the same food, and before the wolves, the elk were winning. So, with a lower population of the elk, a noticeable rise in bison populations occurred too. Oh, and don't worry, with the populations of elk now rapidly decreasing, the aspens and the willows started returning, allowing migratory songbirds to return, which hadn't been seen for decades until then. Maybe the Lorax isn't as fictional as I thought it was. Now, of course, you probably sat there going, so the wolves just ate all the elks and problem solved? Well, not exactly. What the wolves' purpose actually was is to have the elks be more cautious, causing them to roam and graze rather than focus on one particular spot, as they no longer felt safe to do so because there could be a wolf lurking at any corner. So, with the elk numbers dropping and them moving around more, plants started to grow again. The land was less bare. But here's the thing, wolves didn't just eat elks, they also ate coyotes. Why? Well, it was to eliminate competition. Wolves would often have to fight with coyotes for dinner, and the wolf would just kill the pest, and if they were hungry enough, eat them too. This also lowered the rising coyote population, allowing more pronghorn antelopes and small rodents to grow in population. This also then led to owls returning, as there was now more food for them, along with hawks and weasels too, who also liked the rodent-shaped snack. Isn't it just crazy how one species can change an entire ecosystem so drastically? If you enjoyed today's video, please let me know with the little button down below or leave a comment. And if you hated it, keep it to yourself. I'm sensitive. I will cry. And if you do feel like you learned something today, please hit subscribe to see more of my videos. Goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next one.